Hello, everyone. My name is Lee. I'm from Chicago Sports Nation, Chicago Fire Nation. I'm sitting here with Jonathan Bornstein, the left back of the Chicago Fire. Johnny, how you doing today?
Hey, I'm doing great. Thanks for having me on the show, and I'm really excited to be here. Excited to talk soccer for a little bit.
Yeah, we're excited to have you. You are our first interview of the season, and it's first interview since I've been with Fire Nation here. So basically, we all know you as Chicago Fire defender. You came over last season, second half of the season. But fill us in a little bit from your own perspective, what life was like before you came to the Fire. A little bit about your career.
Yeah, I mean, I started in 2006 playing professionally with Chivas USA. I played there for 5 seasons. Uh, was able to grow my career. I was able to get onto the national team after my first season. I got Rookie of the Year, so they brought me up to the national team. And then I had a really good time here in the MLS for those first 5 seasons. Unfortunately, never was able to win a title here in the MLS, but still hoping that can be achieved with Chicago Fire. And then after the World Cup, which I was lucky enough to play in 2010 in South Africa, I signed in Mexico to play with Tigres. After a run there for 3 years, I moved to Atlante for 1 season, and then I went to Querétaro for 4.5 years. Had a lot of success there. Something interesting there was I got to play with Ronaldinho, which was a dream come true. And then after Querétaro, I went to Israel for 1 year, where we also had a really good season. It was almost a dream season where the team hadn't won the cup in 45 years, and we lost in penalties in the final. We were 5 minutes away from winning in regular time, and they scored on us, only to then lose in penalties. But yeah, great experiences. After Israel, I came to Chicago Fire, which was about 7-8 months ago, last August, and now we find ourselves just waiting for the next season to finally begin. So yeah, that's kind of a quick rundown of my career.
Yeah, that's a good timeline for people to go off of. Forgot that Ronaldinho was at Querétaro for a little while, so that's awesome. But going back to the beginning, the Chivas USA days, you said that was 2005, 2006, and now fast forward over a decade later, what is the biggest changes for you within the league that's so much different now than it was then?
I mean, first thing is the sheer number of teams in the league. It's easy to say when I started in the league, there was only, I think, 12 teams, and now there's 28. So you can just see the size, the way that the league has grown, surely by the number of teams. And the other big thing is the quality of soccer that they're putting out on the pitch. I think that product in general has just gotten so much better. I think we're doing a much better job of bringing in a lot of talent and both from outside, like foreign countries, as well as finding quality American players to fill the team's needs. So in those two senses, the league's grown by leaps and bounds, and I'm really excited to be part of the new kind of change that's going on, especially here in Chicago. Obviously, going back to Soldier Field, I think it'll be a very big change and a great change for this team to be able to connect with all the people of Chicago. And then also, I think this team has had quite a bit of a time in between having any success. So hopefully when we get back on the field, we can bring something in terms of hardware to this city of Chicago.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's a good segue into my next question then. Obviously, on and off the field, there's been a lot of changes with the club over the last year or so, especially since the time you've arrived, with new ownership, obviously the move back to Soldier Field. What do you think have been the most significant changes for you, like from your perspective as a player, whether that be the coaching staff, bring in some new faces, what have you? I mean, what do you think?
Yeah, I think actually the things you mentioned are the biggest and most important changes that are happening. Obviously, the coaching staff, they bring in Rafael Wiki, who has a lot of fresh ideas. He brings in he creates a coaching staff that also has a lot of experience behind them. People who are connected with the city of Chicago, like Frank Lopez. And then obviously the owner, Joe, he's making huge changes in terms of wanting to bring the team back to the city, like downtown. So that move to Soldier Field, I think it's really big for the team because, well, although we haven't actually had the opportunity to even see what it's going to be like, and we don't know how we're going to be able to fill, stadiums now that coronavirus has happened. But the idea was great there, which is what I was trying to get at, was that, big stadium could give this product of Chicago Fire to a lot of new people, new faces. So yeah, I think that was a great way to connect with the people, and then also bringing in a lot of new faces in terms of the players. I think that is a good way to create a new team, a new look for this, a new brand for this Chicago Fire, and also they changed the logo, which was great. I like the logo. I think any team that does that, it takes a little bit of a while to get used to it.
Sure.
But I think all these changes were necessary in terms of creating something new for the team, which is what Joe wanted to do.
And then with Joe, with all these changes he's made, the fans have certainly noticed him at games, even going back to last year a little bit towards the tail end. And the fans have noticed more of an ownership presence. Has it been that way for you guys as players as well, as he made himself present in team functions and whatnot?
Yeah, so I can't really compare to what it was like before, just because when I arrived here, I was already seeing Joe in the tunnel before the games. I met him my first game out right there in the tunnel with his family, and so when I met him, at the time he was a minority owner, and so very quickly there were rumors that he was going to take over the team 100%. When that did happen, since that moment, he has been very involved in always being at every single game. The first two games, the one in Seattle as well as in New England, he was in the locker room with us before the game. Again, bringing the first game his son. The first game his daughter, the second game his son. So he's always, involving his family with the soccer, which is something I love because I do everything for my family also, and so it's good to see his connection with them, involving them with what he does with soccer. But yeah, hands-on for sure. Definitely easily approachable. I think he wants what's best for this club, and it definitely rubs off on all of us also.
Sure. Well, yeah, that's all good things to hear, especially from a fan's perspective, because it's been encouraging for us to see him at games in the stands. I know I went to the Cincinnati game last year on the road, and seeing him in the fan section was awesome. So those are obviously all positive things to hear from a fan's perspective. And then going back to, we talked about how there's been a lot of new faces this year. Obviously, there's only been 2 games, so we haven't seen all of them yet. But, I mean, you've been able to train with them a little bit. Talk us a little bit about the new signings from this year, what you've seen, how they are to get along with, and the team's chemistry and all that stuff.
Yeah, so obviously in preseason, one of the guys who arrived was Robert Barrich. He was able to make an impact right away in the preseason games. And then we were still kind of waiting on a few other faces and names to be both picked up and then to arrive also. And then, like you said, we didn't really get enough time to allow some of the new faces to be able to have opportunities to play on the field, which will definitely come. But I think, the additions of Gaston, Jimenez, Aliseda, Boris, Luca. So I think these guys have a lot of talent, and we only trained together for maybe a week, and you could already see that they were going to definitely lift the group in a positive way. So now it's more of just like a waiting period where we're kind of all just anxious to get back to start training with one another. Just all those things though have been kind of accumulating for like this season to be very exciting for us also. We're all just kind of like, let's get it done. Let's get back to soccer.
Right. Yeah, I can only imagine. That kind of goes into us as fans, we've kind of noticed that the team seems to be a little more tight-knit this year. Maybe that's accredited some of the social media things that have been going on off the field. The media team has been very good about, even during these coronavirus times. They had the video of you guys making pizza together. The episode, little video logs of preseason and stuff like that. It seems like you guys are getting along very well. So if you want to dive into that a little bit at all.
Yeah, like I have to keep going back. If we're comparing teams, it's really hard for me to compare so much because I arrived late last season. But I felt that the group last season was also very close. But definitely, this group that we've created over the last few months has definitely come together in ways that, and as fast as I could have even imagined. The group, I think, all of the team meals, normally on my other teams, team meals are like, where you're going to sit beforehand, and you sit there and you're always with the same people, and they kind of end up making groups. It was very different at this club. We've all been kind of intermixing tables and kind of just, trying to get to know one another as quickly as possible. It's something that I've kind of taken upon myself to kind of try and create that atmosphere and that culture inside the club. But yeah, I think the closer the group can be, like if we consider ourselves family, I think that'll translate to the field, and we can have a lot more success if we feel that, we go out there to fight for our brothers every single game.
Yeah, absolutely. We've been able to, at least me personally, I think other fans can attest as well. We've seen a little bit more camaraderie than we have in past seasons, even in preseason games, even in the first 2 games as well. It seems like the fight is there. I know it's still early, but it's obviously good to see. But then you talked about a little bit with your past teams, this kind of little bit of a rewind to when you went to Mexico for a while and had some stints there. How is life as a player different playing in MLS as it is in Mexico? We've seen, just last year the team played Cruz Azul, so the fans got to see Cruz Azul a little bit play in I forget what the name of that competition was called, but walk us through what the biggest differences are playing in Mexico versus playing here.
I mean, it's tough to say. There's like so many differences. No, not so many, but there's a lot of differences on different levels. I would say when I arrived in Mexico, the style of play and the level of play was a little bit better than it had been in the MLS. That gap is very quickly closing with each passing year. You see that through the CONCACAF tournament, Champions Cup, Champions Cup, where before it was a lot of the Mexican teams always making it to semifinals, finals, and now you're seeing MLS teams competing up into the finals and almost even winning it recently. So on that level, but also, I mean, like soccer is culture there in Mexico.
Yeah.
There are no other sports to compete with soccer, football. And so being the number 1 sport in a country, it gets a lot of publicity on TV. It's just so popular with the kids. It's everything. So you drive down the road, and instead of seeing maybe like basketball courts on the side of the road for the schools and stuff, you see all soccer fields, or the majority of soccer fields. I think those little differences between our countries are what have made Mexico a little bit stronger in terms of the game over the number of years. But like I said, I think the U.S. is catching up very quickly, and the MLS, in the way it has grown so rapidly, I think we're going to be either passing them very quickly or right there evenly just within the next few years. And then, I mean, the way like fans treat you in both countries, I think fans in Mexico are a little bit crazier.
Yeah,
I don't know the right
that's going
word.
to be my next question.
Like maybe more fanatic, but more like a European fan or kind of like how we are for American football or basketball. Obviously you walk down the street and you get recognized a lot more than you do here. I mean, obviously depending on who you are, but yeah, I think lifestyle there is different. It's more geared towards soccer than it is here. But at the same time, I really enjoy being back in America, playing in front of American fans. It was how I got my start, and I'm really glad that I've been able to make that full circle and get back to that. It's really nice.
Sure. Yeah, for sure. Then going into the national team stuff a little bit, as you said at the beginning, you got into the national team relatively early from doing well with Chivas. I know you played with Bob Bradley a little bit there. Is that right? With
Mhm.
Chivas. What are your most memorable moments with the national team throughout your appearances, and whether it's camps, World Cups, what have you?
Yeah, I mean, honestly, my first game with the national team is very memorable for me. I was coming off my rookie season where I was awarded Rookie of the Year. I got called into that January camp, and I remember thinking, like, how did I get here? Like 2 years ago, I was just a junior or senior in college, not even thinking about going pro, just because I didn't like honestly think I was good enough, and I didn't see my pathway to get there. And now I was there, and I was going to be playing in my first national team game, lucky enough to start in it. And then it was lucky enough again to have it being played in Carson, which was the city where I was playing with Chivas USA, and which was where I grew up, where I was actually born in Carson, or in Torrance. So in my hometown, in front of all my family and friends, and I was, the game went on. We were playing Denmark, and I scored my first goal, the game-winning goal in my first national team cap. And yeah, it was amazing. I remember just I can like see the goal happen, and then I remember afterward just running over to my family and giving my jersey to my dad, and he was just so proud of me. And so that was a huge moment with the national team. And then another really big one that I remember was not just because of the goal that I scored against Costa Rica in Washington, D.C., but just because of the entire situation that was happening around it with Charlie Davies and the sadness of the moment, but also the way that the team was brought together through that hardship that we were facing. I think that has stuck out in my mind always as kind of what projected us to become a true family for that 2010 World Cup. 2009 Confederations Cup also was, part of that same group. And so just those memories right there in that time, 2009, 2010, really stick out in my mind. And then obviously the World Cup, playing in the World Cup, I think is everyone's dream. So for me, that was the same. And to have that dream become a reality, there's not even words that can describe it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So those three things for sure.
I actually went back and watched that goal against Costa Rica because that was like the first one that stuck out in my mind initially when I was typing up that question. And I actually remember in your goal against New England earlier this year, I don't know if it was the head coach that said something about like you put yourself in a position to score a header, which you probably won't very often. But I'm like, his goal against Costa Rica was pretty similar. So that's two big time moments right there.
Exactly.
But yeah, those are all, I can only imagine, dream come true moments that will always be there with you. And then I guess a little bit personal question to wrap up here. With coronavirus going on, what have you been doing to keep yourself, fit, keep yourself, occupied
Same.
all the time?
Yeah. So, aside from the soccer part, I'll get there. But, I just want to say how thankful I am to have my family here with me. My wife, who's from Brazil, and she's been amazing during this time in terms of, helping with everything, cooking, cleaning. We try and split the responsibilities as much as we can. But then a lot of times, we got these two little girls who are 4 and 2, and they're just running around all over the place, and we're trying to keep them in line, and everything just stuck inside our apartment. I just want to say thank you to her for everything she's doing, because she's been such a trooper, and I owe such a deal of gratitude to her. Then it's been easy to stay busy because of my little girls. They're obviously the ones we take care of the most. Trying to just keep them busy, keep them entertained. It's actually been really fun because it brings out the little kid in myself and my wife. And then in terms of the soccer side, I've been just running, and what Chicago Fire actually brought over some gear like a yoga mat, kettlebells, some weights, rubber bands, resistance bands, jump rope and stuff like that, so that we can be able to do stuff inside of our apartment. And then I've been running outside in the park, in Grant Park for, you see me running around there, I'm there every single day, either doing like doggies in between trees, just instead of putting out cones, or whether it's just running through the streets. I mean, that's kind of what I've been doing. For a while, I wasn't going outside at all because during that peak period, I just felt like, why do I need to go risk it and bring it into my family, if I were to catch anything? And so I was running a lot in my stairwell, which I live in a building that's like 76 stories. So I ran it from bottom to top one time.
That was the trick, I'm sure.
Consecutively, and it was not the easiest thing I've ever done in my life. And I haven't completed that yet again. But yeah, it was really good in terms of staying fit. And, I'm just looking forward to us being able to do the individual trainings like what they're talking about right now as quickly as possible. Because yesterday I was watching other teams and their Instagram videos of them arriving and training, and I was very jealous. So
I'm sure. So
yeah, hopefully we can do
that scheduled to start with you guys. I don't know if each state is different, each team is different based on the state they're in. I know the date was, I think, was it yesterday the individual trainings could start?
Yeah, it was May 6th. Was that? My daughter came. Yeah, so it was May 6th that individual trainings could start. It is on a state-to-state basis, and we're still waiting for approval from the state government to give us the green light so we can start. So we're all anxiously waiting. That's kind of what situation we're in.
Well, then my last question for you, as a defender, you've played in Mexico, you played in Israel, you played here, you played in the World Cup. Hardest player to defend that you've had so far, whether it be in training or a game?
I mean, I got two. I was lucky enough to play against Messi in Copa America in 2007. He was definitely, he's considered one of the best players ever to play the game. So it was a challenge that I was definitely up for. I can proudly say I think I did a good job. And you go back, we can watch the tape, and I remember stealing the ball from him quite a few times. So that, and then obviously Ronaldinho was another one of the best players to ever play the game. That was more so in training. When there were moments of magic always in training and in games that I was playing with him. But yeah, it was, you can never take the ball away from that guy. It was just like,
I'm sure,
just another level from both those players. But yeah, definitely them too.
I would have to agree with you. I can't argue with that at all. Well, I think that's all the questions I have for you. So thank you for your time. A quick plug for us, and this will end up being on YouTube. So for anyone who wants to listen to this, we'll put some of your answers on Twitter, some of the brief ones.
Okay.
And you could search Chicago Sports Nation on YouTube to eventually find this once it goes through all the editing and whatnot. But thank you, Johnny. I hope you guys are staying safe over there and keeping occupied.
Yeah, for sure. No, thank you for the opportunity to be on the YouTube video, and stay safe also over there. Stay healthy. We're all gonna get through this together for sure.
Absolutely.
And back to playing in Soldier Field. I can actually see the stadium from my window right here. Maybe I can show it.
Yes, the viewers, we're all eager to get there.
It's over there. I don't know if you can.
Oh man. Well, we look forward to seeing you again, hopefully soon, and see you in action.
No, for sure. We're definitely looking forward to that. And yeah, see you guys very soon. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Have a good day.
Okay, you too.
Bye.